Hello, fifth graders. Today we are going to learn how to make a bird's eye view of a city. So basically what that means is you're using 1-point perspective to make it look like you're flying over the top of a city, okay? So I know this is hard at first, guys, so hang in there with me. Basically you start with boxes and then you add detail. So let's do this. I'm going to move this screen down so you can see my project. Very good. Okay, so there is my project. What I've done is I've colored using crayon and colored pencil. Crayon mainly for the larger areas. But I want to show you how I got this far. So I'm going to put this one off to the side and show you that when I started this, boys and girls, I simply started with a vanishing point right in the middle of the paper. You see right here. And then I used different shapes. Those are going to be my buildings. Now I recommend not having more than 4, especially when you first get started. But you can use any shapes. Now what if you don't have any shape tracers at home? What you can do is you can cut shapes out of cardboard. Like here's a triangle. This used to be a box of popcorn. This square I just cut out of just like a thicker cardboard. Right here I have a roll of tape. I used this for the circle. For the rectangle, I used a pack of gum. And then I just traced that like that. So that's definitely an option, whatever shapes you want. Now, whenever you make a line that needs to look like it's going away from us, that means you have to use the vanishing point to show the 1-point perspective. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and a pencil. And yes, you want to have a good eraser. Now I'm going to start with the rectangle up here at the top. And I want to show you how do I know where to make the lines. Basically, I know that they're all going to go to the vanishing point. So if I put my pencil on the vanishing point, line up my ruler, and then scooch the other top, this part right here, right into that corner, that shows me where my first line is going to go. Okay, and I hope you guys can see that pretty good. I'd use marker, except I will have to do some erasing. Okay, now this line right here, I'm also going to draw because it doesn't go through the top of the building. Okay, the building is not see-through, so that means that if the line would go through the top, then you wouldn't draw it. And I'll show you that more in just a second. Okay, so putting my pencil on the vanishing point, lining up with this other corner, drawing my line. Okay, now this corner over here, this is the one I was talking about. If I made a line from this corner to the vanishing point, it would go right here. It would go on top of that box. I don't want that. I have to assume that I wouldn't see this edge. Okay, so I don't have to do anything with that one. Now here though I do, because again, like the other two that I drew, I will see it. So I'm going to put my pencil on the vanishing point, line up over here, draw in my line. Okay, so now I have a box that looks like it's going back in space towards the vanishing point. Okay, now the circle. The circle doesn't have any sides, so it makes it a little more difficult, but let me show you a little trick. Again, I'm going to start, put my pencil on the vanishing point. Then up here, I'm going to scooch the ruler over until it touches the circle. That shows me where to draw my line. Same over here. Put my pencil on the vanishing point, scooch the ruler over until it touches the side, draw in my line. Okay, so now that one's done. Now let's move on to the triangle. The triangle is the easiest because I'm only going to see one side. I know I'm not going to make a line from this corner because if I did, it would go through the top of my triangle. But I am going to make lines from here. So I'm going to use my vanishing point, line up the corner. Vanishing point, line up this corner. Very good. Okay, square. Start here, line up the corner with the vanishing point on all three. On the square, I'm going to see two sides, just like the rectangle. This one, do not make a line, it would go through the top. Okay, so I have my perspective lines. Now, the next thing I need to do is decide where the bottom of the buildings are. So basically, where does the bottom of the building, where does it touch the ground? So another little trick, if I take my ruler, line it up on the top, scooch it down, or even, let's see, I'm going to use, my ruler is see-through, so I'm going to use some of the markings on it. But the idea is line it up, scooch it down, and if it's see-through, yes, you can use markings like I am. But you want this line to be parallel to the line you make right here. The top edge of this side of the building needs to be parallel with the bottom edge. Very important. Now the side, same thing. Put my ruler on the top edge, scooch the ruler down until I hit this corner. Make sure the ruler is parallel with this line. Draw on the bottom edge. Okay. All right, the triangle. Watch what I'm going to do for this one. I'm just going to put the ruler on the edge. I'm not even going to move it. I'm just going to make a line on the other side. So that made that a lot easier. So there's the bottom of my triangle building. Okay, over here for the rectangle. Again, line up the ruler. Pull it down this way. Draw a line here that's parallel to this line. Line up right here, pull it down. Make sure you're matching the first line so it makes a corner. Double check that it's parallel, draw on that line. Now the circle, basically the bottom edge of the circle building is going to match the edge on the top. That can be kind of hard to do. A little trick is if you go back to whatever it is you used to make your circle pattern, put it right where you started, right on top, scooch it down. Then if you just trace the inside of that line, and you're going to have to adjust it a little bit, you'll probably have to curve it a little bit more, but there's the bottom of that circle building. Okay, so that's the next step. Now to make the ground, I've got to get rid of this stuff. So I'm going to take my eraser. Now I pressed kind of hard just because I wanted to make sure you guys could see my lines. But I do recommend with your pencil you press lighter, because then you won't have a hard time erasing like I'm doing right now. Let's see here. Okay, I've almost got it off. Don't totally erase that vanishing point though, guys, because you're still going to need that. Every time you make a line that needs to look like it's vertical, it has to go back to the vanishing point. And the same vanishing point, don't make a new one. Okay, so let me show you. Let's see, let me turn this here. There's my example again, so you can kind of compare where I am. All right, now I'm going to show you how to make the road on the ground. So right here in the middle, let's put a little fountain. And then around the fountain, let's say that there's some roads that just kind of go out from the bottom of the buildings. You can save room for sidewalks. And this will be easier to see later when you color. But some of the roads might, you know, go behind buildings, kind of curve up. It helps with the illusion of space if you line up the roads from one side of the building to the other so it looks like the building is overlapping the road. Very important. Okay, add another road over here. Maybe this one goes out the paper. On my example, I put an ocean off to the side like you see right here, so that's something you can do. But see how the roads, they go all over, they go up behind the buildings, so the buildings are overlapping. Okay? Okay, so that's the basics, guys. Now, as far as adding detail, I want to show you real quick with windows, and then I'm going to let you guys just go from there and see what you come up with. Now, to make a window, remember, anytime you put in a line that goes from top to bottom, it has to use the vanishing point. But first I need to decide how far apart are my windows. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to put a little line every ½ inch. Just like that. Then I'm going to line up my ruler with the vanishing point. And this time I'm just going to start on the bottom edge of my building. I don't have to draw all the way to the vanishing point because I know I just have to erase that later anyway. Vanishing point, line, vanishing point, line, vanishing point, line. Now, very important, see how they get closer together at the bottom. That's good because as things move away from you, they're going to appear to get closer together or smaller. Okay, so that said, same thing when you put in the lines going across. Okay, so like up here, let's say that first row is about that wide. When I put the next row in, I'm going to put the ruler a little closer, and then a little closer, and then a little closer even more at the bottom. Okay, so these lines get closer together as you move towards the vanishing point. Very important. All right, guys, I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you. Do your best, you know, have fun with this, and we're going to review this in next week too. I'm going to have some more tricks you can add to your project in next week's video. Double check the PowerPoint I sent out last week. In fact, I think I'll attach it to this week's video too. Okay, this is kind of a long one, I know, but it's good for you. I miss you guys. And, oh, goodness, we're going to get through this and take care, have fun, get outside and enjoy the sunshine. Okay, love you.